Hi, it's Gemma. This episode comes with a warning of strong language, honest opinions, and some topics that you might find upsetting. But that's why you love us. We can't help but overshare. Hi, it's Gemma.
And Lauren.
Get ready to listen to our innermost secrets
In the Oops, We Overshared Again podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the next episode of Oops, We Shared Again. What's it called? Oops,
Fuck's sake.
I nearly nailed that as
so well.
Oh, today we're talking about the first trimester, which luckily for me feels like a fucking distant memory. Because obviously it's something that I've recently gone through, but something that Gemma has as well. Not recently.
4.5 years ago.
But I'm sure,
Yeah.
Does it feel like it ever happened, or does it feel, because when you get back off holiday,
Yeah.
it feels like you never went on holiday.
Yes, but I must admit, it was things like when you would text me and be like, oh, blah, 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 like this has happened. And I would be like, oh, try this. But if you'd asked me before you'd mentioned it, I wouldn't have maybe remembered, but it did bring a lot back for me.
Yeah, because you sent me that video actually that we haven't shared, but I will share. I'll put it on Instagram. You sent me
with the legs up the wall.
Yeah, Gemma sent me a video of her lying on her back with her legs against the wall that she got Ben to film.
Hang on, for context, Lauren was really struggling with morning sickness, which why the fuck do they call it morning sickness when you feel sick morning, noon, and fucking night? It should just be called fucking sickness. But the nausea was hitting hard, and I felt her because I suffered with that quite a lot as well in my first bit of pregnancy. And I was saying to her, like, oh, I found this really helpful, that really helpful. And then I was trying to describe over a voice note what I meant about laying on your back with your bum tight up to the skirting board with your legs up the wall. And I was trying to explain, I was like, for fuck's sake, hang on. And I got Ben to film it and sent it. I can't even remember what that video looks like, but I don't think it's very flattering. And I think it's probably pretty hilarious.
It can definitely make its way on. Do you know, it's funny because I sent it or showed it to Mum at the time. Can't remember if I think I must have seen her. I think I showed her, and she was like, "I can go on the podcast." It was like her
Love
first,
that.
That was like her first thought. I was like, "Yes, it can."
She's got our best interests at heart.
But
do you know what's really funny though? I saw something because that I was like position. Is it a position? I don't know. That thing, the legs up the wall. It actually is a really good way for regulating your nervous system and can really help with anxiety, which obviously is what I'm about. And hilariously, I saw something not long ago on another page that popped up on my Instagram, and it was like showing these like somatic like ways to help with anxiety. And Ben was like, you do that, you could do a video. I was like, I would not look that fucking graceful. Could you imagine me trying to make a calming, like, you can do this exercise to help with anxiety?
Well, it's the transitions into the next movement, isn't it, that doesn't look that graceful, probably.
It would cause people to laugh.
That's totally fine. By the way,
is the best medicine.
At any point during this, and I'm actually going to show you, he'll kill me, but it's fine. I don't think he listens anymore.
Was he only listening at the start, getting your I was gonna say getting your good books or getting your pants, I don't know, whichever one, but he was trying to make a good impression.
Both. He got home from work earlier and I just went upstairs to tell him that I'm recording, so like don't come downstairs. But this is what I found. Can you remember when we went to go to the zoo and he bought me a meerkat like toy?
Yes.
This is what I just found.
Okay, for those of you listening, it is a photo of Jamie asleep cuddling a meerkat. Do you sleep with the meerkat, or has he specifically gone and got it from somewhere and taken it to bed with him?
So it was in the bed, to be fair, because he put it in the bed before he left, and then I just like shoved it on his side of the bed. But it's just the way it was like. It looks like he's spooning said meerkat, which is quite funny.
Meerkat spoon.
Yeah. But yes, first trimester, loads of, and you know, it's funny. I was just having a look. I have a note on my phone. Obviously, wanting to.
Before we get into this, you've also teased me massively and told me I can't look at your Instagram stories because you want to tell me something and it has to be on the podcast because you want to get my reaction.
Oh, okay, I'll tell you that now. So, as you've just pointed out, because I've not got a top on today because I'm really hot, so Gemma can see like full bumpage today when I'm like moving around. And we were saying how I'm quite big for 19 weeks, 5 days I am today. And I do feel very big, but today something happened. So you know how I've been feeling like her moving around inside for like a couple of weeks now, just like internally. And I've looked up like when somebody else can feel it, and it's quite like, it's usually, I think it says 20 to 28 weeks or something, and obviously I'm not even quite 20 yet. But anyway, I'm sat there watching TV earlier. Me and Jamie are watching maths, and I'm sat there, and I genuinely think I would have missed it had I not had my hand there. But I had my hand resting on my belly, and I just felt myself like fully go. And Jamie was sat right next to me. So I kind of moved funny, and he quite often is like, oh, can you feel her? And I'm like, oh yeah. But I went, no, I felt her on my hand. I didn't feel her inside me. I felt my hand. And so I was like, come here. And he luckily was right next to me. So he put his hand there, and then he felt her.
Oh.
And then a couple of minutes later, I felt her once more. So I felt her 3 times. Like, we felt her 3 times. But yeah. So
oh, good. But when I see you in a few weeks, I can feel her then.
Yeah, that was the first time, definitely. And like I say, it was so subtle that it didn't actually feel that subtle touching her, but I'm not sure I felt it other than through my hand, if that makes sense. Like, I think I would have missed it had I not had my hand there. I just so happened to just like have my hand resting exactly where it was.
But they say, so I never really had any of that, but I think I said to you before, I've got an anterior, I had an anterior placenta. So Elliot had to kick through the placenta to get to me, if you like. But my sister, I remember when she had pregnant with my niece, she would tap a bit of her tummy and the baby would kick back in response.
Yeah, do you know?
Or like tiggle it and it would kick back.
It's funny because I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and this person in this video was, I think she's like 28 weeks, something like that. And she's a couple of months ahead of me. She's due around Christmas. And she was saying that it was nice the other day because she was almost playing a game with her little girl, because her little girl was sticking her foot out of her side and she was like pushing it back in, and then the little girl was pushing back out and she was pushing it back in. Oh. It was like they were having like a bit of a game. So she was like, it was nice because it was the first time I felt like I was playing with her. And it's really, it was weird. And it was you should have seen his face. He was like because I think
but how lovely though, you both felt her at the same time.
Really nice. And he shouldn't have been here today either. He shouldn't have been back till later, and so it was,
maybe she knows, that's why
really
she's
nice.
like,
but it was quite nice that he liked, because I've been a little bit like, we'll see how this goes, because I know that when his sister was pregnant, it used to really scare him.
Oh, what, seeing the baby move?
Yeah, and every now like, he felt it a couple of times, and he was like, it just used to make me feel really sick, like it used to really freak me out. So I was like, great, like this is going to be really fun. But I was like, it might be different because it's yours, and you're also a few years up, like, because he's talking about his niece, and his niece is just gone into year 1. So I'm like, it's a few years ago. But I was like, I think it'll be different. But yeah, he I don't know whether it will if he actually sees it, but he seemed not too freaked out about it today, just more like shocked.
That's cute. Love that. Oh, thank you for telling me that. I think that's lovely. It's like real warm and fuzzy inside.
It's funny because literally when he got home, about an hour earlier, I felt her move a little bit, and he was like, oh, I'm really jealous that you can feel her and I can't feel her. And then it was literally an hour later.
Like, yo, daddy, come feel this.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, and we get to see her next week, so I'm very excited.
I know, very excited.
Yeah. But yeah, I have a list on my phone of first trimester symptoms.
Oh, excellent. Well, why don't we rattle some of them off and we can see what we can have, like a bingo.
Okay, we can do that. So the first thing I felt, like the first indication that there was, and I feel this one on my period as well, but it was like to the extreme, was literally about 5 weeks pregnant, boobs.
Mate, with you, 100%. I used to feel like my bra was made out of sandpaper.
Oh.
And and people would hug me and I just wanted to punch them in the face because it hurt so much. And I remember Ben trying to cut, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
No.
It goes through periods, and I would say it's a hell of a lot better now than it's been the whole way through. But my that literally the first few weeks were probably the worst. Like, it literally felt like I wanted to rip my nipples off my body because they hurt me being there. And I remember, remember we went to Gloucester like 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant.
Oh yeah.
And it was then. And I tell you what, so we went over the weekend, and the Monday afterwards, I was 6 weeks. So I was nearly 6 weeks when we were there. And because that was our 6-week scan that we had, and we had that on the day of being 6 weeks.
Yes.
We came home for that, didn't we, in the morning, so that we could go in the afternoon. The whole time I was there, that was like my biggest thing. And I remember I have this top that has like, it doesn't have a bra in it, but it has like an underlayer that's really tight. So I quite often don't wear a bra with it because it's not a booby top anyway. It's like a straight across one. So I don't usually wear a thing under it, but the fabric underneath it was just hurting me. And I remember walking around Gloucester going for dinner and being like, I was like almost pushing myself. Relief.
Trying to, you almost hold your boobs to you to try, so that there's no slight, it was like the fabric of the inside of my bra, just in the slightest of movement, and the pain, it was just, oh my God, not ideal.
The one thing I have had actually more recently is down the side of my right boob, like literally on the outside side, every now and again I get like a shooting pain in it, and I'm like, fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't know, fuck knows what that is, but it's like
hormones. You think all your milk ducts and that are starting to.
And I mean, and as we spoke about last week, they've grown a lot.
Maybe they're growing pains, seeing as all of a sudden you had pretty big boobs anyway, but all of a sudden you've gone from like you've gone from a honeydew to a watermelon.
They have grown more than I realised they had until we looked at photos the other week.
And you're not done yet.
No.
And then when your milk comes in,
this is what I'm like.
You look like a porn star. You look like a porn star.
Yeah. But then that's the problem as well, isn't it? Because then your boobs start getting bigger. And like you were saying with Ben, it's like, get the fuck off me. But it's like you've just all of a sudden got these.
I was all right once I got past first trimester. The pain went for me with the boobs.
Mine, to be fair, actually, mine's not too bad. The one thing I will, and I do this anyway. I quite often don't wear a bra when I'm just like sat around the house. But in the evenings, I'm struggling to sit in it because like my nipples hurt against my bra. So I quite often am taking that off in the evening. But I wouldn't say they're in pain otherwise. It's just
no, the more sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what else is really weird? Not first trimester, but later on, my nipples went really, really dark.
Yeah, well, you showed me a picture.
Oh, I have, haven't I? But how weird. Yeah. They went like as dark as my hair, like dark, deep brown. But then like a couple of days after I give birth, they're back to being pink.
Are they still the same? Did they get bigger when you're pregnant? And are they still the same size as they were when you were pregnant, or did they shrink?
No, about, I might have got a bit bigger actually. I think as well more noticeable because they were so dark. Whereas like they're sort of like skin coloured.
See, I still feel like, I mean, mine are still the same colour as obviously they were, but they feel bigger than they were.
Yeah, maybe they did get bigger. I must like, I feel like through, and obviously I breastfed for whatever 3 years. So I feel like that's the areola in it, or whatever it's called, and then the actual like little nipple bit. That bit, I would say. I mean, for those of you not watching this YouTube, you want to see what my hands are doing right now. And that bit, I would say, like the actual nipple bit that gets erect. Maybe not because of pregnancy, maybe because of breastfeeding. I feel like that gets harder a lot quicker. And I have like what I would consider to be like a nip on more often than I don't.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I don't know how much of that is pregnancy and how much of that is breastfeeding. Yeah.
Interesting. Something to keep
so yeah,
something to come back to.
The boobs hurting. Well, we can report back on this in due course. What about what's next on your symptoms from the first trimester?
The next one says nausea, and there's a few subcategories to this because what I will say is I was very lucky in terms of the amount I was actually physically sick. I don't think I was physically sick. I think I was probably sick maybe 5 times, but I felt sick all day, all night, continuously round the clock. I think I was only sick once, annoyingly, when I was like 12 and a half weeks. I was like, can we get the memo, baby? Like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I was only, I think, sick once, just because I was sick. I think the rest of the time I was getting incredibly grossed out incredibly easily. So like smell was triggering me. Something that was really weird that triggered me a lot is if my hair fell out and was on my jumper. That used to make me gag, which happens regularly. So I would look down at my jumper, see a hair on me, and be sick. And also brushing my teeth was a really big one for me. But
that was
basically, I would say only one of the times I was sick, it was actually just because I was sick. Most of the time it was because something grossed me out, no matter how small, and that made me sick.
See, I'll be honest, I have a big thing against being sick. Like, actually being sick.
Yeah.
I think, though, without getting too deep, it goes back to obviously things in the past and things like that, with like having that unhealthy kind of cycle with eating and stuff. But I'm almost to the point I freak out now if I'm sick. And I stop myself being sick, even when I'm ill, which I know seems a bit weird. And people are like, how can you stop yourself being sick? But I have ways. And one of the things I do is I tap myself, not in an EFT type way. I just like tap my legs or I jiggle myself. It's hard to explain. So I also was only sick a few times, wasn't a lot, physically sick, but it was the constant nausea. And for those perhaps that haven't listened or don't know, when I fell pregnant with Elliot, I started a new job, left a job I'd been at for like 9 or 10 years, started a new job and fell pregnant a month after being there. So I had to keep, well, I didn't have to, I chose to keep my pregnancy a secret. I was worried they wouldn't pass my probation. So all through those early trimester symptoms of being like, you know, like your boobs hurt and feeling sick, and all, we'll obviously go through the rest of the list. I had to really try and keep it a secret. So I had those anti-sickness bands on and just had to keep like my jumper pulled up over them. And just used to take in little cans of ginger ale and the ginger biscuits and just, I don't know, I think because I couldn't be sick. But there was a couple of times when, you know, you sit there and your mouth fills with water and you're like, mate, no, I can't. You have to like leg it to the toilet.
That feeling reminds me of being in like the back of a taxi after a night out.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like, oh, it makes me feel like.
But brushing my teeth used to make me feel sick and gag, and still does sometimes because I scrape my tongue every day.
I do as well.
And I've got a really nice copper tongue scraper actually, and I highly rate it. Scraping my tongue, struggled with. And when I was about 14 weeks pregnant, I remember I went to the dentist and they fitted me with because I grind my teeth, mouth guard, and I had to have the impressions.
Yeah.
And I couldn't cope with the top, I could only have the bottom. And tablets, I know you don't take tablets anyway, but I would take like big old vitamins before I fell pregnant, and with like the tiniest little amount of water. Whereas, to be fair, even now I struggle. But when I was pregnant, and I know you take the liquid pregnant care, but like the pregnancy vitamins and stuff that I took at the time were freaking huge. And 0 out of 10 would not recommend. And that was, do you remember I said to you when I chundered everyone and pissed myself?
Yeah.
So I took some vitamins and then they did not go down the right hole, if you like. And as I gagged as I was trying to swallow them, it was like one of them things like a duck. And I was like, and like gagging while I was trying to swallow, chundered everywhere. And as I chundered, pissed myself, ran over to the sink in the kitchen, pissed myself more while chundering more in the sink. And then looked around and my dog was then eating the sick. So then I chundered again whilst crying out for Ben.
Yeah, really. Do you know though, even though I take the liquid, I would say even now, especially while I felt sick though, it's the least favourite part of my day.
What does it taste like?
Shit. I can't.
Just actual shit, like feces or like.
It's like
hint of shit.
I don't even have to describe it.
Animal shit, human shit.
No, it doesn't taste like actual shit. I don't think anyway. I don't know. It's not what I would imagine it tastes like.
What does it smell like? Earthy?
No, it's really thick. It's really dark brown syrupy kind of texture.
Poo.
But
Diarrhea.
it's really not nice. I did get Jamie to try some at one point because he was like almost not like laughing with me, but like joking with me about how disgusting it is. And I'm like, try it. Like, it ain't going to do you any harm. It's a vitamin. Like, it is not going to do you any harm. Like, have a go. And it's really not nice. And it's 2 spoons a night as well, or day. But I take it at night because it makes me feel ill. So I then go to bed. But I will be honest,
Can't you put it in something?
in theory, yeah, I do want to. Do you know what really did help? But it's not something that I can do every day. When I was having migraines a few weeks ago, I had, because I'm a child, I had some Calpol. And I tell you what,
Do you mix Calpol with your pregnant care?
no, but I took my pregnant care and then I took my Calpol, and the Calpol completely took the taste away.
Nice.
And I was like, can I not just have Calpol every day? Like, this was great.
Well, you probably could.
to be fair. And I was only taking the 8-year-old dose as well, so I wasn't taking the full bang. But
do you have the strawberry flavoured one or the orange?
The strawberry.
Nice.
It's really nice. I'm not gonna, although I know I can't go any younger than this, but the 6+ is nowhere near as nice as the like proper kids version.
I never used to like the 6+.
No, it's not nice. It's better than anything that is made for adults.
Agreed. Do you know what else though? I was saying this to Ben the other day. So in Tesco's, do you ever go into Tesco's?
Occasionally, not very often.
So do you remember Sam Fairs off of Towie?
Mm-hmm.
So she's got this range of kids stuff called Knightley's Adventures. I think that's her kid's surname. That's her fiance's surname. And I think they do clothes. They do clothes. Because I bought Elliot some pajamas, which are really nice, very nice quality. Anyway, she does this range of bath stuff, and we used to use Child's Farm and other things. I started using this Knightley's Adventures stuff, and really, really nice. Highly recommend. But they do a strawberry one. It smells just like Calpol.
Ooh.
Like just like it, because every time I wash it, I'm like, I just want to drink it.
Do you
Obviously,
know,
I'm not gonna.
when we were kids, we used to get like annoyed if one of us was ill because they got to have Calpol, to the point where like mum would let us have a little bit of Calpol if the other one was ill, because it was like, well, that's not
Your
fair.
mum was onto a winner there. She's like, right, you're both happy. I'm getting an early night. Lovely.
Absolutely. But what I will tell you about Calpol on a slightly different note is that you Calpol, and I'm not a snob when it comes to, I shop at Aldi. Like, I'll quite often go for the like the knockoff versions of stuff, you know. Can't do it with Calpol. It's not the same. I'm telling you, as an adult, if you complain as a kid and they were like, don't be ridiculous, as an adult, I can tell you it's a completely fucking different experience. Zero. Would not recommend.
I mean, as you know, I don't actually do medicine in that sense.
No.
So I don't. Elliot doesn't actually have Calpol. He takes homeopathic alternatives. But for me personally, I probably would have it not so much for the medicinal purposes, but just, I don't know, recreationally.
What I will say, recreational drug use. What I will say,
I'm into recreational Calpol use.
What's funny about it is because obviously, I mean, it's a funny thing that I take Calpol, but to be fair, it actually physically does the job. I take less of a dose than actual paracetamol gives me. And I enjoy the experience. Like, in my mind, if you can take tablets or not, if you like Calpol, fucking have Calpol. It's an expensive way to do it, don't get me wrong, because an adult's dose of Calpol was like, if I wasn't pregnant, it's like a four spoons. So you go through the bottle pretty fucking sharpish. And also, they don't, you know, when we were kids, how you used to just unscrew it and you used to tip it on a spoon. Now, because of kids overdosing, you have to use the like syringe.
Oh, is it got like the stopper in the end and you like put the syringe in and like, nice.
So I now have to use the syringe when I give myself medicine.
This is like the best thing I've ever heard.
It's like a whole situation.
Okay.
But we just syringe it in. Like, it looks.
That's good. Squirt a bit of Calpol in my mouth.
But yes, the vitamins for me are not a fun part, and they definitely weren't fun when I already felt sick. And that it has been something that I've had to be a little bit. I've been very good at taking them, and I have took them most days, but it has been something where I've given myself a little bit of grace on. And there's been a couple of times where I've thought, do you know what? One day for your like sanity, it's worth not taking it. There's been like time.
If you have another baby, what about, or even I suppose, I mean, you don't feel sick now, and I don't suppose you've really got to take that pregnant care stuff for much longer, but what about if you mixed it into like a smoothie?
Yeah, I mean,
had a smoothie for breakfast.
I should.
Yeah.
I've got like another 3 bottles of the stuff because I bought it when it was on offer. So I've got a lot of it, and so I could, in theory, start experimenting with it a little bit.
Yeah, because I mix. I mean, it's not like that, but like the vitamin powders and stuff like that I have, and just put. Well, I have a smoothie every morning for breakfast. Put it in there because then you'll get the nutrients in the smoothie as well.
We have a whole like toddler routine in the evening where I act like a child because I know what's coming. When he's like, "Do you want to go to bed?" and I'm like, "No." I'm like, I want to sit here and not go to bed. And he's like, "You've been asleep for an hour." And I'm like, "I'm not even tired. I am not moving." And then he has to drag me off the sofa. And the other day I just flat out refused. And I was just like, "No." And he's like, "Get up." And I'm like, "No." And then he goes,
"Oh, you're preparing him."
And he has to go into the kitchen and put it on a spoon. And then he feeds me the spoon. And then he washes up the spoon and does it. And I like run upstairs to brush my teeth. It's like a whole situation, but that's where I did use it anyway. But the tongue scraper is a necessity in the evenings because it sticks to my tongue, so I can.
I reckon whack it in a smoothie.
I might give that a go.
Go and get some frozen.
Then it is strawberry.
Yeah. But well, you can get the strawberry or stuff like that. But if you get some sort of quite strong tasting smoothie mixes, try a few. If you go to Aldi next, I get some of mine from there. You can get like the pre-mixed bags of smoothie mix. Have you got a blender?
We've got like a blender thing, so I could use that.
You can try that, yeah, see how you get on. But definitely the frozen fruit, and then whack it in. Only make yourself a small one, so you've not got a lot to drink.
Yeah, maybe I'll give that a go because it's not pleasant. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Or do you like strawberry milkshakes?
Yeah, I do.
You could put like a couple of spoons of ice cream, some milk, some strawberries, cheeky little banana in there or something, and the stuff.
Yeah, true.
Just be careful though. Depending on how much room you've got in your yard.
Where's she going with that?
My milkshake brings other boys to the yard.
They're all just flocked. Did you know someone once sued and won Lynx? We learnt this at uni because we were doing obviously about events and marketing and whatever, and about false advertising and like how you have to be like really explicit, which is why like the mascara ads, they say at the bottom like false eyelashes used or whatever, it says like other things underneath because you have to like legally, if it's not completely accurate, you have to. And even if it's sarcasm. And a really good example of that is a man sued Lynx in America and won. I don't know what settlement he got, but it was quite an extensive amount because he said when he put Lynx on, women didn't run towards him.
That's fucking brilliant.
And he was like, that's what the advertisement said. But it just goes to show, like, it's almost worth looking out for adverts like that because you can make a shit ton of money.
I mean, great. Good for him.
Now it says something at the bottom. It says something like, may not result in women flocking towards you.
That's literally the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so nausea, sore boobs, tick.
Yeah, that was a shit one. Something else that kind of added to the nausea, but was very separate, was smell. In all aspects, just heightened, and everything was disgusting. I couldn't go in my kitchen.
You couldn't go in your flat, could you? Like at all?
I couldn't do anything. Yeah, my flat in general was really hard. I struggled with the cat food. I struggled with the smell of my kitchen cupboards. I struggled with my fridge and my freezer. And if I looked at them, it made it even worse. So when I used to get an ice cream out of the freezer, which used to help with my nausea, I used to have to do it like a blind person. I used to have to face the other way and open the door and go.
Right, surely if you're a blind person, your sense of smell would be heightened.
Right. Well, it was.
Surely you would have done better to have held your nose and just looked.
I just couldn't. I just could not cope. Like the smell was just awful. Everything was disgusting to me, and it did very much confine me, like you say, to like different rooms. I was stuck in my bedroom when I was at the flat because it was the only.
I was
that got
meant
worse.
To come and stay at your flat, and I didn't even get to come and look at your flat because you were like, can't go in there, I'll just be sick.
I thought, yeah. It did get to that. At one point, Mum was like, "I'll pop round," and I was like, "You can, but you can't come in because I can't sit on the sofa with you. So why don't I come?
You got to come and sit on the bed."
Yeah, like it just ain't gonna work. And it got minging in my flat as well because I couldn't go in there. so I couldn't like do any washing up or like do anything, to the point where when I moved out and moved into Jamie's, I threw all of my plates in the bin and bought all new ones because they were all dirty, but they were getting to a point where they were disgusting. But because my dishwasher also broke the second I moved into the flat, so I did have to wash up, but I couldn't stand in there long enough to do it. So everything went in the bin. Which, I mean, I said to Mum, I was like, that's such a me thing of like, I can't be asked to wash up, I'll throw it all in the bin. But actually,
I mean, it is, but actually doing it is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I really, really struggled. With smell.
I must admit, I already have a very keen sense of smell. So I don't remember that being an issue for me, but I already have, a very, very keen sense of smell. A bit like a bloodhound.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't say I do normally. In fact, I would actually say I've got a pretty weak sense of smell, to the point where I struggle to buy myself perfume because it kind of just blends into one for me. I don't have a very distinctive sense of smell. So for me to have such a like strong sense of it, I think that probably made it even worse, because it was like,
so it's a new sensory sort of input that's quite intense. I get that.
So that was really hard. But my senses in general, taste, again, the one thing that was really odd for me, and I like it, I season like for example, I had eggs on toast earlier. I would always put salt and pepper on, right? I like salt and pepper, and I use a quite healthy amount of salt and pepper as well. Like I like both. Pepper became, every time I had pepper in anything, it tasted like someone was feeding me a spoonful of pepper. Like it was the only thing I could taste. And there's these arancini balls. They're called arancini, but they're actually not arancini because they're made with mac and cheese, but it's the same kind of like, they kind of make them the same.
Sounds good though.
Really nice. That we get from this takeaway. And I wouldn't have even been able to tell you they had pepper in them before. And we ordered them. I was coming out of the first trimester. I was kind of towards the end of it. I would say I was probably like 11, 12 weeks. And I had one bite of one and I was like, it is literally like eating pepper, and I had to throw them all in the bin. And Jamie tried one. He doesn't really like them anyway, but he tried one and he was like, they taste exactly the same as they always taste. And I'm like, no.
It's funny though. It's I suppose it's all connected, don't it? Your sense of smell, your sense of taste.
Another way that I noticed that was connected, actually, that I've completely forgotten about, that I haven't actually written down. Every night I got like this like weird snotty phlegm situation that like was like here to here, like sniffly in my nose, feeling like I had crap in my throat every single night. And I'm like, but why, hun? Why do we need to do that? I don't get it.
You know what's quite funny as well? I found when I was pregnant with like nasally bits and pieces, my allergies, because I am allergic to dogs and cats, my allergies to animal such things got so much worse, whereas my allergies to food, my intolerances, whatever you want to call it, I was fine.
It's very interesting you say that, actually, because I don't have allergies at all. I don't even have hay fever. Like I literally don't have any type of allergy going at all. And what I will say is there were a couple of points where I was in like the throes of first trimester where I was like, am I a little bit allergic to the cats right now? am I getting a little bit of hay fever? And I know hay fever was bad this year as well. Like I've been told. It was like a particularly bad year for it. But there were a few times where I was a bit like, that's not
almost like you become a bit more sensitive to it.
That's not how my body normally reacts. And so I think that was definitely happening. But it's interesting what you say about the food thing, because I've got a friend, Jess, who was allergic to, or she had an intolerance, I should say. She wasn't allergic. She had an intolerance to both gluten and dairy. And which, by the way, she discovered on the same day, which is really not ideal when you go to the doctors and you can eat everything and then they go, yeah, you can't eat anything with gluten or dairy from now on. So she had quite a big like adjustment in terms of her eating habits when we were like mid-20s. And she got pregnant about a year afterwards. And while she was pregnant, the doctor said to her, like, if you can because she was anyway, to be honest. She used to have a Domino's once a month. She was like, I just do it on a day I don't have anything the next day. Like, I like, because I enjoy it and I don't want to not enjoy it. And because it was just an intolerance, she could just about get away with it. It just used to give her a dodgy stomach. But they said if you can introduce it a little bit, it's more likely that your baby won't have that intolerance. So she was like, great, that gives me more reason to have Domino's. So she started introducing it more frequently into her diet, and she was noticing that she was getting nothing, like anything. And she was really scared when she gave birth that would all go away. And Jacob's now, he's just started school this year, and she's had another baby since as well, and she is not even slightly intolerant to either gluten or dairy. And it's like, I mean, I don't get how a baby can fix that.
Wow, it ruins a lot of other things.
I think she was really something. I think she was really nervous when she had her daughter, that it was gonna, you know, like when you like have those films like Freaky Friday and then it reverses. She was like really scared that Ellie was gonna like make it go backwards. But no. Yeah, weird.
No. During pregnancy, fine. After pregnancy, not so fine.
Interesting. So make the most of it while you're pregnant if those things go away, just in case.
Well, to be honest, yeah. But you think about it as well. I mean, I think Elliot was about 4 months old, maybe come up to 5, when I cut all the stuff because breastfeeding, and we discovered that he had allergies, and I had to cut out wheat, dairy, soy, and egg.
So much.
Straight away. Yeah, it was a bit much. There wasn't really much you could eat then. No. But yeah, and then we've reintroduced, it's just egg and dairy now we can't have. Yeah. But I can't have dairy anyway. I could have eggs. But obviously, A, I'm vegan now, so I won't. But B,
it's easier not to, because
Elliot's really allergic, so I wouldn't want him in the house anyway and him get contaminated or something.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's really, do you know, it's surprising. I mean, it's obviously, it is anyway when you have a vegan diet anyway, it's quite restrictive, especially when you go out. But it's so funny to me now, being a bit more careful with eggs. I'm having them at home. I had eggs this morning. Like, so for example, I ordered breakfast this morning. I ordered avocado and halloumi bagel, but then I cooked my own eggs to have with it rather than having their eggs. But what I've noticed when I go out for breakfast, because I do quite often go out for brunch or breakfast with people, everything has eggs on it.
Yeah.
And I find it really, really hard to like not have eggs. And it like, other than like it being like, I don't want eggs on that, but I don't have the willpower to do that. Because to be honest, it's my favourite part of the breakfast. So it's already upsetting.
Yeah, I do miss eggs. I will be honest.
It is upsetting anyway. But there really is only like one thing left on the menu that I can have if I take eggs out of the equation.
Depends where you go though, because a lot of places do that vegan breakfast where they do like vegan scrambled eggs.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm much more happy to eat scrambled eggs out as well anyway. So if they don't
taste the same as scrambled eggs though.
But they're not. So I'm quite happy to have even just normal scrambled eggs, but not everywhere even does that. Because I think poached eggs are so like everyone loves a poached egg at the moment. A lot of menus don't even like have scrambled eggs on there, and then you don't want to be like, can you scramble some eggs if that's not something they serve?
What about if you just ask them? When I was pregnant, because I used to eat loads of eggs, but when I was pregnant, what I used to do was I would fry an egg and then crack the yolk and flip it so it was cooked through, because it's just you can't have a runny yolk.
No, that's true, but it's just a bit crap, isn't it? It's literally my favourite.
It's not the best. It's not the best, because what I really miss is dipping a chip in a yolk.
Yeah, I do love a yolk. I had a runny yolk this morning with what I was having, because obviously again they were like fresh eggs, and I knew that they were. Do you know what else?
Though? I used to cook a fried egg and flip it just for like 10 seconds, so it sealed it, but it was still runny in the middle, and I used to have that on a crumpet.
Oh, I had quite often. I had it on crumpets twice this week.
The yolk seeping into the crumpet. I'm making myself hungry, and I'm vegan. Stop it, Gemma.
That's something that I've only just been able to eat again because I was sick after eating that in first trimester. So that's something that I've literally only just in the last like couple of weeks been like, I was eating crumpets and I could eat eggs, but I couldn't eat crumpets and eggs for a little while. Which was very upsetting, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so that's another. I'm just looking at my list, and the next thing on my list is actually quite funny. It's the one that makes me sound like a really bad person. It's the physical touch one. Where I was getting, it sounds really bad, and it was you because it was usually Jamie, but the reason it was normally Jamie is because he was normally the one that was around me. But basically, if anybody touched me anywhere, like on my shoulder or my leg, anything, it made me gag. So every time Jamie would like put his arm around me or something, I would gag, which, you know, isn't ideal. But yeah, I don't really know what that was. I think again, it's just senses probably being a little bit
all heightened and that,
yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
a touch as well, isn't it?
You don't, yeah, and that's past now.
Yes, that has passed now, thankfully.
Okay, no, that's good. That's what, you know, poor Jamie doesn't want you gagging every time you come near him.
Yeah, really not ideal. What else do I have on here? Tiredness still, but in first as well, just like absolutely shattered. I was having what I would say I'm like now. Actually, it's hit me more in the last couple of weeks, but we'll talk about this at another point when we kind of touch on this kind of side of the pregnancy. But up until now, it's been more like I'm a bit grouchy in the evening, but like I can be fine all day. Like I can just about get through the day. Whereas in first trimester, I was like, luckily with what I do, I was like sleeping whenever I felt like it. And most of the time I did sleep at some point during the day.
I did the same in first trimester. In fact, I was fortunate that the job I did at the time, I was a project manager for a quite large company. So I used to work from home quite a lot, or I'd be out on site, or I would have a site visit. It wasn't really a site visit. I would just stay at home and sleep. And then be like, oh, I'm out at site, I can't come in the office and whatever. But because you are exhausted. And Ben used to bring me, the only thing I could really stomach consistently in the first trimester was cold, out of the fridge, crisp pink lady apples.
Yeah, you've told me that before, actually.
Yeah. So I would literally just be in bed. Ben would bring me an apple and I'd just go back to sleep. But I was in bed so early. Yeah.
Yeah, I must
So
admit, I'm not having apples, but I'm eating a lot of grapes at the moment.
Cold
Again,
grapes or just like room temp? Yeah, it's the coldness for me.
So I think it's probably that like juicy,
crisp, cold. You also described yourself the other day as a toddler that's dropped a nap.
Yeah, that is how I feel, because I feel like I'm at that stage where when you stop having a nap when you're a toddler, and then you're just like a complete pain in the ass in the evening for
like an overtired little brat.
Yeah, that's how I feel, especially when I've then got to take my vitamins as well.
I mean, literally, Jamie has got toddler life on lockdown.
Oh yeah, he really has. But yeah, I would say that the tiredness is something that I've probably found the hardest, like consistently, like the whole time. I would say that's the only thing that I've had really the entire time is the tiredness.
Yeah.
And now I feel majority of the time pretty normal, except for the fact that I'm tired.
Yeah.
Pretty fortunate for. I'm very happy.
What's been your favourite bit of the first trimester?
It's a very good question. I'm not sure there's much of an answer. I like, I don't know. I found the first trimester very hard. I found it very like anxiety provoking and stuff. So I would not say I enjoyed pregnancy then. And I feel like I'm enjoying pregnancy a lot more now. And I was scared that I wouldn't. Like, some people obviously don't enjoy any of their pregnancy, and that's fine. But I was kind of like, God, it's a fucking long time to not enjoy it. And I would quite like to enjoy it.
Absolutely. And I said to you as well, because I fucking hated being pregnant. But like I said to you, to really try, because that's something I really regret, not enjoying my pregnancy, because I don't look back on that time of my life with a great deal of joy or enjoyment.
No, and I definitely don't with that kind of stage of it. I think we obviously got to have quite a bit of reassurance, even though it was very anxious. So we had within the first 13 weeks we had 3 scans. So we were quite lucky to be able to see her a number of times, and each time it got slightly easier. But I think probably highlights just being able to just like get our heads around it together as well and be like excited about it, I think was nice. And for it, when it started to feel like it was actually going to happen, I would say all of that was probably the nicest thing, and probably still the nicest thing, actually. Just that kind of like yeah, just that realization that like there's actually like a child, which still hasn't like
there's a baby that's gonna come out of this.
yeah, just fucking great. It's mad that in 5 months I'm gonna have a child.
Shit, yeah.
And that's if she's a couple of weeks late, because it's like 4.5 months till my due date, so it really is 5 months I'm gonna probably have a child. It's a very like, my brain hasn't quite connected that yet, but it's nice. I'm enjoying and actually getting to see Jamie be, obviously it's a weird thing because me and Jamie are obviously still getting to know each other in so many different ways, and no, but we are like, we're still
I know
having to like get to know each other. Like, we've just moved in together like a month ago, and like even parts of our personality that we haven't seen yet. Like, we're not going to celebrate his birthday together until after we've had a child.
Okay.
Yeah, because his birthday was while I was in Spain, so we're not in person. I was talking to him, but I've never met him. We're not going to celebrate a birthday with him until baby's here. So we're very much,
of course. So this is because it's your first Christmas together.
yeah.
You've got your first Valentine's Day to come.
Yes,
Which
may or may not have baby.
Oh,
yeah. So it's
okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't even think of that, but of course
we haven't experienced like a lot of stuff. So it's been really nice because he's been like beyond good, to be fair, in terms of like how I've been, and it is like you say, like jokingly but also true, like he's being a parent already.
Yeah.
And it's
Jen is to 2 toddlers regularly.
Yeah, and it's nice, and it's nice to see like that kind of like caring side and whatever, and I've got like no doubt in him whatsoever when it comes to it. And yeah, it's that's all been really nice and really comforting, because it is mad. And even though I'm really excited for her to be here, I said to him the other day, actually, I said I'm so excited for her to be here, because it's mad that unless we have another private scan on Thursday, that's the last time I'm going to see her before she's physically here.
Yeah, sometimes you have scans later on though.
True.
I had a couple with Elliot. Yeah. And I paid and had a 4D scan.
Yeah, see, we were talking about that earlier. I don't know if we're going to or not, but that is another option. Yeah,
I wouldn't bother again.
Would you not?
If we had another one, nah.
But
I would. Did you get the heartbeat, Barney? I've already said that to you.
No, I haven't got that.
That's the only thing I did get. That I love that. I still have it now.
Maybe I'll have a look at that then. But anyway, it's like, I'm really excited for her to be here, but also I'm really glad that we've got my birthday and Christmas and stuff without her being here, because it's like, it's the only time we're ever gonna, and like, we're going away for my birthday and things like that, and we're not gonna have
exactly, because it all changes. And to be honest, the dynamic of your relationship changes massively once you have a baby, because it's exactly like that. It's not, the time you have for each other diminishes dramatically, and so having those little bits, although you've not got long, at least you've got that kind of chance to put a foundation in place before she's here, and to have those little experiences, and to have the date nights and the little breaks away. I know your mum's gonna be like all over it, and she'll I'm sure jump at the chance to have her and stuff for you whenever you want to go out. But it's still
different.
Yeah, because it's like, even like when we've been out, I'm always like, I'm messaging the babysitter, like, is he okay? Has he gone to bed? You don't like really switch off.
And also, what do you talk to Ben about? Like, I said to Jamie the other day,
mainly Elliot.
This is it. I said to Jamie the other day, I was like, I don't know if we have anything in common. Like,
well, you'll have a kid in common, so that's fine.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we must have spoken before, but I don't know what we used to talk about already.
Yeah.
And it's weird, because we've spent more of our relationship talking about the baby than we have not talking about the baby.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like, it's a really odd, it's really odd. But no, I am really thankful that we've got that, and I like that we've.
Well, how long were you two together before you fell pregnant? 2 months.
Yeah, and then 3 by the time I found out.
So you've already been pregnant for more of your relationship than you weren't. So it already makes up a bigger chunk.
Yeah.
Mad.
It really is. Yeah, it's insane.
Well, and it's funny as well, because we were saying, weren't we, earlier, that one of our listeners messaged us
Mm-hmm.
and was like, or messaged me and was like, oh my God, Lauren's pregnant. And I was like, she's halfway. She's like, I'm listening to the cat. She's a fairly new listener, but she's binge listening. And she's like, she's just Steve. But when you think about how, obviously from a podcast perspective, it's been, I mean, you know, like, if you're listening to them one after the other, it is like 30 seconds, obviously, from finishing one episode to starting another one. But it's mad, isn't it?
It is also, like, when you said that to me earlier and you were like, from her perspective, like, it's been like, I can't remember what you called it, but like a whirlwind. And I was like, well, to be fair, it ain't been that much different in fucking real time.
No.
Like, obviously we had a bit of a gap in between seasons, but only a month or so. I don't think we had that
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a gap.
I didn't know I was pregnant when we finished that season, but I think I got pregnant like the following week. So it was very like soon when you think of it like that, because obviously those episodes came out weekly, so it wasn't a huge amount of time. And obviously we didn't talk about Jamie at the beginning and stuff like that as well, so it probably I knew Jamie in that very first episode when we said that I'd split up with Steve.
Yes,
I already knew Jamie then.
Yes,
but obviously
how mad is that?
break up with Steve also is a new guy.
I don't think we really made an announcement though. You just sort of dropped into conversation.
Yeah, I did. And then I think it was the tarot episode where we started like really, because obviously it came up. I think that was the one where we were like, oh yeah, he's here. Little Ace of Cups.
Old Ace.
But yeah,
well, yeah,
it's very exciting, but I'm very glad not to be in the first trimester, and I'm not gonna lie, I do not look forward to it again. I will do it again, hopefully.
Yeah, it's not.
I would love to do it again, but I would. But it's actually been quite nice for me because I have enjoyed, or I'm enjoying this bit anyway. And I'm enjoying like getting bigger and seeing myself getting bigger and stuff, which I love, because obviously for some people that's like freaks the shit out of them, and I'm actually like really enjoying it to a point where I'm like, get big, like get huge. I want to get colossal.
Oh babe, you will. You wait. Give it another couple of months.
And it's so funny like having that kind of side of it. But yeah, it gives me a bit more hope, I guess, for the future of like, it doesn't, I'm gonna like, I might not enjoy that bit, but I will enjoy some of it. So that's quite nice going into it, because there is then an end to it, whereas I didn't feel like there was going to be an end to it while I was in it.
It does though, and you like you say, you've got that experience now.
But yeah.
Oh well, we're excited. We're gonna do a follow-up when Lauren is in her third trimester to review the second trimester.
Yeah, which isn't that long. I go into the third trimester around my birthday, so mid-November.
So that might, well, watch this space.
We might still be here. We might just pop up for like random episodes if necessary.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows at this point? Who knows? I mean, I'm still hoping that you agree to me putting a GoPro somewhere, filming the birth.
Yeah, I still don't feel like that's going to happen.
Preferably on my head. And I'll just be there. I'm on standby in case your mum's stuck somewhere on holiday.
I feel like that's probably going to be quite likely the reality of the situation.
That's fine. I've told you I'm going to get a thing for my phone, stick it on my head. I'll have your mum on FaceTime. It'll be like she's there.
I might just hang out at yours all the time anyway, in case I go into labour, so I'm close to the hospital.
Good idea. Or you can just deliver the baby here. I've got a perfectly good lounge that's done me all right for one kid. I will help you have your baby on my lounge. All babies can be born here.
Love that. Well,
yeah. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
We would love to know what you would like us to talk about as well. If there's a certain topic you would like us to cover.
There's not much that's off bounds.
I mean, I'd even go as far as to say probably nothing.
No, I would agree.
Anything goes.
I'm happy to chat about whatever you want to chat about.
So yeah, let us know. Drop us a message.
Fabulous. Well, we will be back at some point in the near future for the next episode when we figure out what we are going to talk about. We'll see you.
Easy breezy.
To be fair, we could even do an update, because obviously we're going to have a scan next week, so that's going to be something else to talk about potentially as well. because there's going to be other shit going. They're going to go, it's a boy, and I'm going to be like, great. Like, it's all going to be happening. So maybe that's
she's definitely a girl. We already know. But yes, thank you all very much for listening. Thank you for joining us.
Goodbye.
We're not good at hellos. We're not good at goodbyes, but we love you all. Goodbye.